Imagine a city in crisis. Factories belch smoke into the air. Orphans roam the streets, hungry and lost. The year is 1841. The place is Turin, Italy, a city on the edge of industrial revolution and social collapse. But in the midst of chaos, one man's faith will set in motion a transformation that defies all odds. This is the story of St. John Bosco, a man whose life was anything but ordinary. His impact still felt across the globe today. But what exactly did he do? And how did one humble priest ignite a movement that changed thousands of lives? To answer that, we have to understand the world John Bosco was born into. Turin in the 19th century was a city of rapid change. People flocked from the countryside, chasing jobs in booming factories. But the city wasn't ready for them. Housing was scarce, families were torn apart. Children, especially boys, ended up on the streets. Many turned to crime simply to survive. The church tried to help, but the need was overwhelming. Most people saw these street kids as a lost cause, but John Bosco saw something else. He saw sons and daughters of God deserving of dignity and hope. Bosco's own childhood was marked by hardship. He lost his father at age 2. Raised in poverty by a single mother, he learned the value of perseverance, compassion, and faith. These experiences shaped his future mission, to serve the young, especially the most abandoned. At just 9 years old, Bosco had a dream, a vision of a field full of unruly boys fighting. In the dream, a mysterious man told him, "Not with blows, but with gentleness and charity, you will win them." This vision fueled his life's work. As a young priest, John Bosco walked the slums of Turin. He met boys who had no home, no work, and little hope for the future. Instead of preaching at them, he listened. He played games, performed magic tricks, and earned their trust. He called his ministry the Oratory, a place where boys could play, learn, and encounter the love of God. The Oratory was more than a shelter. It was a family. Bosco offered food, education, and spiritual guidance. He taught practical skills, preparing boys for real jobs, but most of all, he gave them a sense of belonging. His approach was revolutionary. He believed in preventive education, creating an environment of reason, religion, and loving kindness so that young people wouldn't fall into trouble in the first place. He insisted, "It is not enough to love the young. They must know that they are loved." Not everyone approved. Some neighbors saw the Oratory as a nuisance. Authorities accused Bosco of stirring up trouble. Even within the church, his ideas were controversial. But Bosco persisted. He trusted that God was at work, even in setbacks and failures. As the Oratory grew, so did the challenges. Food ran short. Buildings were overcrowded. At one point, a mob even threatened to destroy everything. But Bosco refused to give up. He prayed. He worked. He relied on divine providence and on the generosity of those who believed in his mission. Over time, his work began to bear fruit. Boys who had once been lost became responsible citizens. Some even became priests and teachers, joining Bosco in his mission. The Oratory model spread across Italy and beyond. But here is what most people miss. John Bosco's greatest innovation wasn't just social, it was spiritual. He saw that lasting change only happens when hearts are transformed. Education, work, and community were rooted in the sacraments, prayer, and a personal relationship with Christ. Bosco's own faith was deep and contagious. He spent hours in the confessional, guiding young souls. He organized masses, catechism, and vibrant celebrations. Miracles and healings were reported. But it was his daily presence, his willingness to listen and love, that made the deepest impression. By the time of his death in 1888, John Bosco had founded the Salesian Order, dedicated to serving youth worldwide. His legacy lives on in schools, orphanages, and youth centers in more than 130 countries. Millions have been inspired by his vision. So what can we learn from St. John Bosco today? First, that holiness isn't about withdrawing from the world. It's about engaging with its deepest wounds. Second, that real change happens when we meet people where they are, with patience, creativity, and love. And finally, that every act of faith, no matter how small, can ripple outward, transforming not just individuals but entire communities. The saints remind us, a single life surrendered to God can change the world. If this story moved you, consider how you might bring hope to your own city. And remember, true greatness isn't measured by fame or numbers, but by the love we give away. Thanks for watching Faith Hacks. Subscribe for more stories of saints, faith, and transformation.